Good morning. My name is Mark Quinn. I'm the Director of Security for Garland ISD. It is 11:31, and I would like to call the August 6th meeting of the GISD Safety and Security Committee to order. The Texas Legislature mandates every school district have a safety committee. Texas Education Code and Government Code 551 govern how this committee is run. At this time, do we have any public comments? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the first order. I would like to introduce new committee members. We have new committee members that are starting this committee. They are not here, but I will tell you that Brian Turquette is a parent of a student at Brandenburg. We also have Gracie Rodriguez, who is a parent of a student at North Garland High School. And we have Shannon Sesko, who is a new teacher. She is a teacher at North Garland also. She is in mandatory meetings today, and we knew she wasn't going to be able to make it. So I'd like to touch base real quick on a security overview for us beginning this 24-25 school year. We are prepared for the first day of school so the security department is a 24-hour, 365-day operation. So we have all hands on deck for the first day of school, the first week of school, and pushing on into the rest of the school year. The security department is a 24/7 department with 3 shifts. I'll let Justin talk more about that. But all of our patrol officers and ASOs will be out first day of school. All our patrol officers will be out touching all the campuses, visiting with the admin, touching base with the kids, touching base with the teachers, just to make sure everybody sees us, know that we're out and about patrolling. We have our systems technicians that'll be out addressing any problems that come up. I'll let Thomas talk more about systems here shortly. We have evening shift that'll monitor CCTVs just like they always do, intrusion systems, door props, all that kind of thing. Those deep nights and evenings will be monitoring that. Deep Nights also monitors all assets during the deep night hours. We've also coordinated with the 3 police departments, Garland, Saxe, and Rowlett. You know our working relationship with them. It's solid, it's top notch, so there's no need to even expound on that because it's first rate. As you have probably seen, the school zone lights started flashing yesterday. We coordinate with the city, make sure that they start flashing a week before school actually starts to get everybody prepared. We also have contacted crossing guards. Crossing guards are ready. They're ready to start rolling on that first day of school. And we've shared each year we have known traffic issues that we know are going to come up. So we'll have all our patrol officers out and about, checking those known traffic issues, looking for ones that we don't know, coordinate with the district, coordinate with transportation and upper admin about any traffic issues that may come up as they are notified. And then everybody knows also about our 24-hour dispatch center. We have a dispatch center that's open 24/7. That's the heart of security. So we have made a point, and even before I got here, we made a point to get across to admin, to teachers, to everyone that if you have an issue, call dispatch. They can route those questions or those issues to who they need to go to seamlessly. All the numbers for maintenance, transportation, security, everyone is in dispatch so they know to route that properly. So that's basically an overview of security and how we're going to be structured at the start of the year. Are there any questions on just an overview? Yes, sir.
Do we have the full complement of security officers at all our elementary schools at this point?
I was going to talk about that next. We are very close. So I will talk about armed security officers. If nobody has any other questions on general overview of security. All right, I'll move on to ASOs. So we have 1 position to hire. Everyone is hired. We have 4 that have just started training. So these 4 will not immediately be on the campus because we still have to give them proper gear and give them proper training before we push them actually out into the schools. So all campuses will be covered except for these 4. They are on a rotational basis, so we do have ASOs, SROs that are helping us cover those campuses that don't have an ASO assigned to them.
So you said 1 position is needed. So is that 5 we're missing or 4?
That it's 5 with that 1. So 4 are hired.
Okay.
We're just not. They're still in their training. 1 has not been hired yet. We have 1 opening. As you know, most of these guys are retired police officers and military. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're going for. But we have some level 3 guys too that are very, very solid level 3 security officers that we've hired and have plugged in seamlessly to the schools. They're gelling with their campuses. It's amazing the amount of calls that I'll get almost without fail. I'll call a campus, talk to the administrator, and without fail, they say, I love my ASO. Please don't move my ASO. So there have been some times where, there are a few times that we've had to move an ASO for whatever reason. We've had to create more floaters, and I have to tell the campus, you'll still see this guy. He's not leaving, so they're loving these ASOs.
Could you talk a little bit more? The question I get the most is about that position, and just talk about their credentials and training and all that.
Sure. They have lots of training. So they have a mandated license to carry that they are mandated to have. They also have a mandated 16-hour DPS course that every ASO is put through. So on top of that 16 hours, we give them many, many more hours of training. They have active shooter training. They have alert training. They have verbal judo training. They have stop the bleed training, AED training, CPR. What am I missing? Oh, school-based law enforcement. They have school-based law enforcement training. Even though they're not police officers, they are not enforcing law, we do give them school-based law enforcement training. So they are trained above and beyond what the state mandate requires.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Really, the only other thing I have to talk about ASOs is just the fact that they, too, have gelled with the SROs that visit these elementary school campuses. So the SROs have a group of 4 or 5 campuses that they're responsible for. They kind of bounce from campus to campus throughout the day. So those ASOs have made that connection with their SRO, and so when that SRO comes by, it's just a teamwork that they collaborate with. Any other questions on the ASO program? All right, I will move to the armed security security operations. Justin Kaufman.
Okay, I'm Justin Kaufman. I'm the coordinator for the operations division in the security department. Basically what my division does, we're like Mr. Quinn said, we're 24/7, 365. We're the only people in the district. We're here on holidays, weekends, nighttime, what have you. My division does the random searches throughout the school day. We also do our standard response protocol training. We go to all of our campuses. We go everywhere and give this training to all of our staff members throughout the district. We also do intrusion assessments. So some of our officers will show up to a school in civilian clothes and just walk through the school just to make sure that staff are responding properly to a stranger in their campus. We also are in charge of the safety and security audit, the 3-year safety and security audit that the state requires of us. We also offer some additional training. We have CRAZE training, which is something I got certified to teach last year, which is basically how to respond in the event of an active shooter or an active attack. We also offer verbal judo for anybody that's interested. This is basically how to de-escalate a situation, how to get someone who's up here emotionally and get them down to a point where you can actually have a conversation with them. Our division also, so on top of protecting people, we also protect property. This is the investment of the taxpayer, so we take this very seriously. Our dispatchers monitor our camera systems 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our patrol officers actually go around and check all of our buildings. They look for graffiti, broken windows, doors standing open, anybody, unauthorized people or vehicles that are on our parking lots. They also look for any other damage that might complicate or prevent the use of the building the following day. My division also maintains our district's reunification plan. So during the school year, if we end up in a situation where we have to reunify students with parents, we organize and head that up. I can't talk about all those things without giving a shout out to the folks in my division. I'm so proud of them, the volunteer spirit and the sacrifice that my division has. I'm humbled every day to work with these folks. Currently, we are conducting SRP training for all of our campuses and campus staff. As a matter of fact, Juan Cervantes, one of my officers, he's at one of our campuses right now giving the standard response protocol in Spanish to our Spanish-speaking employees. So as far as operations, we're looking forward to the school year, and we're excited to see how we can best serve the district.
Any questions on operations? So just to add to what Justin said, this last session that Juan is doing this afternoon is also translated in Vietnamese. So we'll have a Vietnamese session also this afternoon that Juan's putting on the standard response protocol. Any other questions on operations? All right, let's move on to systems overview. Thomas Head.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Thomas Head. I am the Security Systems Coordinator for Garland ISD. I'm just going to give a brief overview of what systems does as a whole every day. When it comes to systems, we deal with all these CCTV systems, access control, fire alarm, fire sprinkler, fire extinguishers, intrusion systems, panic systems, our public address, and sound systems throughout the district, Raptor, and a few other things. My team is split up with 11 people with 2 teams. Pretty much. We got fire protection, and we have everything else, anything that's not fire related. We have 4 licensed guys, that includes myself, to work on fire alarm systems in the state of Texas. We have 1 opening that has been filled, hasn't started yet. At the end of this upcoming year, I plan to have 2 more licensed people, maybe 3, depending on how everything goes. I want to give a quick update with bond projects. This ain't really my alley, but we are working with them to help with the portable relocations, making sure fire alarms are tied in, public address, camera systems put out on the awning areas so we have protection on the portables. And we're also working on the other projects to make sure anything that is done follows our scope of what we already have in the district and make sure everything ties into it nicely. I want to talk about our intrusion system a little bit. We have changed over to a new access card format. Pretty much is what that means is we have an old format that's no longer available, but we moved to a new system. So we had all those merged, and now we're working on getting some of the old cards out of the system. We've updated our access profiles to make sure everybody has the correct access and people who shouldn't have access doesn't. Let's see here. And we have also done database updates and system cleanups just to keep the system up and running. Talk about fire systems a little bit. When it comes to them, we pretty much service them, we inspect them, and we maintain them. So when it comes to inspections, we do an annual inspection on the fire alarms every year. We service them, so when there's troubles, ground faults, whatever, we get them back in operational order. And when it comes to maintenance, we clean smoke heads, check devices if they're bad, replace them, stuff like that. PA systems, there's not much to talk about. They either work or they don't work. So when they stop working, we just replace part that's broken. Quick thing, we are moving to a new PA system. The old one we have, which is a quantum system, is no longer available. And parts are dwindling every year. So we're moving to a new NyQuest system, which actually Harris Hill has and one other location. Talk about CCTV a little bit. A few things we've done. Every year we do a thing called video dump. What that pretty much means, if there's any saved videos throughout the year, we move them to a secured shared drive. So we keep that footage for a set amount of years. So if anything happens, we can always retain it. We've upgraded all our Avigilon servers to version 8, which is the current version from 7 and 6. We're working on Active Directory. That's pretty much, we're using people's district logins to log into the system. We're getting rid of generic logins. We also completed server updates. What that means, it comes with all the Windows updates. They've all been upgraded to the latest version. They're all secure and all that good stuff. We've done hard drive replacements with all the drives that have gone bad. We made sure they're all up and running. And we also replaced a server at Spring Creek that died last year. So that's one thing we've done with that. Last thing I'm going to talk about is some projects that were started before my time and during my time. All the emergency buttons that were started last year are complete and tested. All the Harris Hill panic buttons are also finished, and they're placed in different locations throughout the building. The back fire alarm, during the storms that we had back in May, we lost the fire alarm system at back. We got it replaced with a spare panel, or we actually had to buy it, but our guys were able to program it and get it up and running. Harris Hill, the PA, has been replaced and tested. Hereford, they got some access doors added to their campus that lead out to the playground area off some of the classrooms. Before, they just dogged down the doors to keep them unlocked because there was no keyways back into the building, so we added those secure doors, so there was no way the door was always unopened. And we've also completed some campus camera additions in places where we needed some. So we're looking forward to the school year starting. My guys right now, they're working on getting everybody's Avigilon logins and Raptor logins working before the first day of school. So there ain't no if people need to be checked in and stuff, we can do it securely. Is there any questions? Yes, sir.
Talk more about the emergency buttons. Is this the ones that the teachers have in the classrooms, or is this the ones
These are
throughout?
physical, in the physical plant locations. We got the lockdown buttons, which have been installed for several years now in the office area, nurse's office, stuff like that. What I'm talking about, emergency buttons are some of the ones we put in like gym offices, kitchen offices, places where you might not be able to get to a phone, some pretty easily, but, staff can push it and it will alert our dispatch center that something's happened.
So these are around the campus, not in the classrooms?
Correct. Yes, sir.
But the state mandated that every classroom have.
Yeah, we
Can you
we
talk
also have
about
the
that
app,
too?
the smart button app. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and everybody has that now?
I'm not totally sure how we give that access
Yes.
out.
They do. They do all have access. Also, we have the ability in each classroom, the classroom phone rings, when it rings 911, we're able to see exactly what classroom that is. Automatically, it alerts dispatch when we have a 911 alert too. So we're always notified. Each classroom that has an emergency, dispatch is immediately aware of it.
One of the training I went to, one of the questions to ask you is, when we have substitutes, are we training them in what to do in the classroom?
Yes, we are. We have substitutes that go through the standard response protocol also.
Okay. And could we talk about the protective film?
Yes, we can. Dr. Lopez, would you like to speak first?
Yeah, just for clarification, because I know the public's listening, clarify exactly the app that the teachers use for notification. It's not necessarily a physical button.
Right. So it is an anonymous alerts app. So all teachers, all employees are able to download this app onto their phone, which immediately, if they pull up this app, they can immediately hit a button that says emergency. It notifies us that there's an emergency. It notifies us they're geo-fenced so we know where they are, so we can immediately send a response to that location where they are. So yes, every employee has it, and it's an app.
And the substitutes have it on their phones?
Yes, they have the ability to download it also.
So protective film?
Protective film, yes, we are complete with protective film. Every one of our campuses has protective film on all the mandated locations, and there are even some Zone 2 locations that are not mandated that we went ahead and filmed because we thought it was the right thing to do. So Zone 1 is required by TEA. We have a lot of Zone 2 also that we've added with the film on certain locations. So yes, all film is completed at campuses. Yes, sir.
At our last bond presentation, talking about the last bond we approved, we talked about new cameras and new fire alarms. So that was part of what you were talking about?
Yes, with bond 2023,
Yes, sir.
several at the end of this bond, cameras, servers throughout about half the district will be replaced. Cameras will be refreshed on the interior buildings. We're gonna have, I think, about 38 fire alarm systems fully replaced. That means panels, devices, wire, everything else. I believe that's it.
So are those the cameras that we put in after the 2014 bond? Is that what we're replacing?
Yeah. Some of the ones that are outside, they're beyond their time to be replaced. A good camera, you get about 5 years out of it. You got to work. You got the money out of the camera. Yep.
Thank you.
And we're always looking to add cameras to the system too. You can never have enough cameras.
Yep, and we always proactively replace them when they go down.
Any other questions? Okay, let me bump back just a second. I see our two parents that have come in. Thank you all for coming, by the way. I've got Brian Turquette, and you have a student at Brandenburg.
I have 3 at Brandon.
3 at Brandenburg. 3 at Brandenburg. Thank you for being here. And Gracie Rodriguez.
Hi, I have 1 now at North, but I also work at North, so, but yes, this is my last one.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here, and welcome to the committee. Thank y'all. Any other questions before we go into our next phase? All right. So what I'm going to do now is, per Government Code 551, executive session is to be held for purposes permitted by the Texas Open Meetings Act, such as the presentation of information of a sensitive nature. Pursuant to Chapter 551.076, we will now ask visitors to exit the room for the video to cease recording at this time, so the committee members may discuss the district's armed officer program and the TEA intrusion audits. All right, the time is now 12:02. I will close the executive session portion of this meeting. The public has come back in, and I certify that nothing was discussed in executive session that was not listed in the agenda. I would now like to talk, any discussion of topics for further meetings. Anyone want to talk about anything in the future? Okay. If we have no topics to discuss for future meetings, I would like to invite Dr. Lopez to give any closing comments. Oh, sure, there is a podium.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lopez, proud superintendent of the Garland Independent School District. We're a Tri-City school district, and I just want to thank for all three municipalities for being part of everything that we do. A number of years ago, we did a notification to our board whenever your services are called to us. And I remember the first week that school board members were getting notified every time you were on our campus. It could be for somebody's illness, it could be for a fire alarm, it could be for whatever is going on. The board was amazed about how supportive you rally around each and every one of our schools. And so the public needs to understand that you've always had this as a priority. You always take great care of our schools. And I just want to let you know publicly, we recognize all three cities' involvement in everything we do, and we thank you for it. Whether it's from fire or from police or just from the city council, just extend our thanks for it. The public needs to understand that we don't row alone in our district. Everybody's in it together. You see board members here, community members here. Safety and security is actually the first thing that we think of when it comes to Garland ISD. The hard part is we can't control every variable alone. So we need every member of our community to consistently let us know what's going on. We have anonymous alert apps. You could call the city security dispatch. Please don't overlook any threat out there and think, well, I don't want to get in that business, or it's not my lane, or how do I handle it? Call somebody. We will take it and go with it. The safety of our entire society, and the center point is our school system, is in the hands of the entire community. It isn't just the people with the badge. It isn't just for the people that are in some position of authority or influence. It's everybody working together, doing their part, saying these are our standards for our community, that we're not going to tolerate these, and we're going to make sure this is our acceptance rate. The more eyes and ears that we have, the safer everything's going to be. With that being said, as we close, we really pray for a successful school year, and success starts with safety. And so as we're kicking off this 24-25 school year, I just want to thank you all for being here. I trust that this is just going to keep evolving, and we're going to keep working at perfection. I know our ASO model was new, and now it's becoming the fabric of our district. I know that we're getting all these spontaneous inspectors coming in to inspect our schools to see how they could come in. And remember, we talked about culture and everything else? Well, that means students aren't letting these inspectors in. That means teachers aren't letting inspectors in. That means when they're trying to sneak in with other parents are saying, no, you got to buzz in, dude, right? It takes all of us. These are protected areas, right? And so when you start seeing the fencing going around on playgrounds, and your neighbor says, that's not right. We used to play on those playgrounds anywhere we want. And they're like, no, we got to protect the kids. These are different times. There should be a perimeter to not allow anyone access there, even after hours, because who knows what they'll be doing there after hours. There's no guarantee, right? When we see all the cameras that are out there, right? We got to say, hey, all right, we got cameras. We got to keep investing in these bonds, because the school budgets cannot sustain these type of camera systems all the time. And you see with every bond, we keep enhancing our security. Understand that security is priority one. First year of the bond, all schools have the filming that we promised our taxpayers. We've already delivered on that. So please understand, this Garland security collaboration is a cultural thing. It was here when I got here. It's been enhanced because everybody here understands the nature of security. And so I just want the public to know in our first kickoff that this is something that we take very seriously. And this is not just a ceremonial meeting. And we really want to strive to keep all our kids safe. So thank you for everything you do. Appreciate you, Mr. Quinn, on leading the charge.
Thank you, Dr. Lopez. We have now completed the scheduled order of business, and there are no further business to discuss for the Assembly to consider at this time. I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you.